Victory's here. Hope everyone's been well. Today I will be sharing with you a bigger PC purchase I made last week and discussing the importance of population reports when investing. I'll be giving tips with examples which can hopefully help you guys pick the right cards of a particular player to invest in, because they aren't all equal. But first, I want to quickly talk about PSA's turnaround times real quick. They are so slow right now, noticeably slow right now. I have 3 orders that have been in research and ID for weeks now. And it's weird because PSA didn't have a very impressive February or March monthly special. It did have a good vintage 1960s and 1970s, like $15 per card special, but the bulk of collectors don't do vintage. And they seem to have finished up all their $15 New Year's special orders. So what's the holdup and why now? I find it very interesting that the slowness started right when collectors bought out SGC. Coincidence? I mean, maybe. But what was the biggest attribute threat to PSA that SGC possessed? It was turnaround time, speed. SGC was flying. It was like 5 business days. So now I ask you, since SGC and PSA are now under the same umbrella together, what's PSA's incentive now to turn around orders quickly? They aren't competing anymore, essentially. And I find it odd SGC all of a sudden got a little slower too. I'm slightly worried about all this. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm going to keep going with the flow, but it's definitely worth monitoring. All right, let's get into this. So when buying and selling cards, one of our ultimate hopes is that the players we buy perform well, win championships, win Super Bowls, win MVPs, get into the Hall of Fame. And when they do, we sell their cards during their success for huge profits, hopefully. But the reality is that's not how it usually plays out, even if your player pans out. I call it the Super Bowl effect. And Patrick Mahomes is the perfect example of that. You would think, oh wow, he won another Super Bowl. His cards are gonna skyrocket. Let's hurry and get his 2017 Prism rookie up for sale that we own. Well, guess what? That card was pretty mass-produced and lots of people own them. So everyone has that same idea. So everyone lists them for sale at the same time. That waters everything down, and supply outweighs demand. So prices become flat or even decrease. Cards have been just so mass-produced, especially from the year 2017 onward, that it is creating that watered down effect. That's why you see the demand for low serial numbered cards like gold prisms or gold chromes. The point I'm trying to make is that we need to all take this into account when investing. And the perfect tool to help you do this is the graded card pop reports, specifically the PSA pop report. And the PSA Pop Report is free for everyone now, so you don't need to be a member, be signed in, or anything. So when you're investing, I strongly suggest you look at Pop Reports, especially for your more longer-term investing. And the recent big purchase I made is a perfect example of this. Before I put a bid in, I looked up its Pop Report, and I noticed something eye-popping. I'll explain after I show you the card. Here it is, right here. It's the 2013 Giannis Rookie Silver Prism. Sales have been good, which means I get to splurge on a big card for my PC. There's so many cool cards you can buy right now, great deals in that $2,000 to $5,000 range. I won this Giannis Silver, PSA 9. I think I got a steal. Comps were around $4,000, and I sniped it. I didn't think I'd actually win it, but unbelievably, I won it for $2,500, somewhere around there. I was very happy, and you guys know me. You know my favorite year of silver and parallel prisms is this 2013. basketball, football, and baseball. I think they all just pop and shine more than any other year. So I had to own this Giannis at some point, and I'm glad I got it at this point in time. This Giannis goes along with my first tip about pop reports. So the tip is you need to compare your card or the card you want to invest in to kind of the most mass-produced years for each sport. This will be a great gauge how its population will stack up and value down the road. To me, for football, like it's 2020, that year's so mass-produced. You know, you got it's good to compare to. You got the Herbert, the Hurts, the Burrow, it's that year. And for basketball, the 2018, 2019, those years are such massively produced years. You know, it had 2019 had the infamous Ja and Zion. 2018 had the Trey and the Luka. So let's look at some of those pops so you can kind of really compare and see why some cards are more important to invest in than others. So let's look at this Giannis population report for PSA. It looks like there's only 191 total silvers graded by PSA. Only 89 mint 9s and 79 gem mint 10s. This feels really low pop to me, which is why I bought the card. So let's go ahead and compare it to, say, the 2018 Trae Young silver. All right, so the Trae Young, man, it says nearly 5,000 graded with PSA. 5,000 compared to only 191 Giannis. And so 5,000, 2,400 of those are mint 9s and almost exactly the same amount in gem mint 10s. That's massive. Let's quickly go to the Zion, the 2019 Zion silver. 5,000 graded, 2,800 mint 9s, 1,700 gem mint 10s. That's crazy high too. And the Ja, very similar as the Zion, the silver. 4,800 graded, 2,700 9s, 1,600 gem mint 10s. It's crazy to me, the difference. You know, these numbers are staggering compared to that Giannis. Let's compare it to the other side, the flip side, like the Giannis. Here's the 2012 Jimmy Butler silver prism. Guess how many were graded? Let's look at the popper. Only 64 total graded. 35 9s and 23 10s. That's just a crazy difference. So now you can see why some cards are better investments than others and less competition in selling them. Let's look at the football real quick. We can look at the 2018. I love the look of this card. 2018 silver prism, Lamar Jackson. These were short print this year, 2018, but let's look at the pop report. Only 163 total graded, 89 9s, and only 28 10s. Only 28 gem mint 10s. That's crazy. Let's compare that. That feels low, right? Let's compare that to the Herbert, the 2020 silver Herbert. Looks like over 1,200 graded, 759s about, and 182 gem mint 10s. That's such a big difference compared to the Lamar. I'm surprised there's only 182 gem 10s on the Herbert. That actually, I kind of like that number. That's a huge difference. That kind of segues into my next tip between that 9 and the 10. So that tells me that the 10s are pretty rare, so it might be a good investment in a 10 form. I might need to get one of those. So yeah, the second tip is that when you're looking at pop reports, the gem mint 10 to mint 9 ratio needs to be at least half the amount of 10s. For sure, the gem 10s need to be lower than mint 9s, but I'd say half ratio is perfect. You know, less than half, that just keeps getting even better. A perfect example of this is actually where are you? Yep, there it is. The Jaylen Brown 2016 silver prism, PSA 10. Well, let's go ahead and look at the pop report real quick and show you this. It's crazy. 362 total graded, 70 mint 9s, 276 gem mint 10s. That's an insane ratio for the other way. It's way more rare to get a mint 9. That's crazy to me. So That's something definitely eye-popping, and you should keep an eye out for when you're looking at these pop reports. When you're wanting to invest in, say, a card like this, how rare is it? How much am I going to be competing against other sellers selling this card when he performs well? Who knows? The Celtics may win the championship this year. They have a good shot, as well as any other team. So that's just something to pay attention to with that little tip. All right, the third tip. So in the pop report, like the PSA pop report, you can also click on a PSA estimate where they say how much your card is worth. Whatever you do, don't listen or refer to these estimates. They are awful. They're way off. Just go off eBay Comps or Card Ladder, places like that. I honestly don't know where PSA are getting some of these values or assessments. Let's look at, there's two perfect examples of these, of cards I graded and sold. The first one is a 2003 Big Ben Wallace Topps Chrome Refractor PSA 10. I got a PSA 10. The PSA estimate told me, it said it was only $32. I sold it for $135 within a day. It's a huge swing. It's over $100 swing. Another one, 1999 EX Edgerrin James Bright Lights. Really cool card. I got it in a PSA 10. PSA gave me an estimate of $15. I sold it within 2 days, I think, for $137. Again, that's massive difference. So just something to be aware of. Don't go off those PSA estimates, okay? Finally, the last tip is that not every Pop 1 is a good Pop 1. People grade weird cards that probably should never even be graded. Cards that no one grades. So if you were the only one that grades it, and really could get any grade, it could get a 7 or a 6 and still be a Pop 1 if it's the only card graded. So don't be impressed or fall for any listing for sale on eBay or wherever that says Pop 1 in the title. Definitely do research before being impressed by that Pop 1 title. Figure out if the card is actually rare or valuable or just a card no one should grade. The perfect example of this is something I graded. It is this Kyle Van Noy gold refractor. I like Kyle Van Noy, collecting his stuff, but I could tell the centering's top to bottom is off. It wasn't even gonna get a 10. I don't know. It's just a brain fart why I graded it. But it's a Pop 1, right? Because no one else out there is dumb enough to grade it. Sometimes I get a little trigger happy when submitting, but really evaluate and analyze the value and demand of each card before submitting, okay? Not every card needs to be graded. Okay, so I think the point of this video is that I truly want you guys to get rewarded for picking the right player, and investing in the right card of that player is so important. It's the worst when your player wins, succeeds, you made the right call, and your card still goes down in price. It's because of the pop reports, because of the mass production in which some of these cards were made. So refer to the pop report when investing. I want you to get which specific card of the player right, so you aren't competing with thousands and thousands of others selling the same card. Then your card just sit there and it won't sell as quickly as you want it to, and all of that good stuff. So I hope this video makes sense. It was just a topic on my mind, and I hope everyone does well, and I hope all your PSA subs start moving fast. Let's go, PSA. All right, thanks for watching.